The fluorescent lights of the KFC restaurant cast a pale glow across the nearly vacant establishment. Within its walls, Sophia Roberts methodically cleaned the counter surface for the third instance that evening, performing the task more out of ingrained routine than actual necessity. The late-night shift rarely experienced significant customer traffic except during weekends when intoxicated partygoers sought affordable sustenance. Yet on this particular Monday, the restaurant remained virtually empty. Sophia glanced toward the wall-mounted timepiece, which indicated 4:27 a.m. She exhaled deeply, experiencing the heaviness of recent weeks pressing down upon her shoulders. Her physical form exhibited exhaustion, but her mental state suffered even more severely. The fatigue had become integrated into her daily existence, no longer merely a physical sensation but an omnipresent weight that accompanied her from the moment of waking until she collapsed into bed at day's end. She retrieved a damp cloth and began wiping the tables near the register. Her gaze drifted toward the deserted street beyond the glass frontage. The pavement glistened beneath the street lamps, with a subtle mist beginning to descend over the roadway. Something about the nighttime silence amplified her thoughts, making them more difficult to disregard. Past due rent payment, overdue electricity statement, credit card at maximum limit. Sophia momentarily closed her eyes. Her employment at this KFC location had continued for 3 years. The compensation barely covered essential expenses, but she stretched every cent to ensure Lucian, her 17-year-old brother, maintained some degree of stability. He deserved at least that much. Lucian harbored aspirations of becoming a filmmaker. He dedicated hours to viewing classic films, examining screenplays, and editing brief videos on his mobile device. Despite their circumstances, he never voiced complaints. In fact, he consistently assured her that eventually, he would transform their narrative into cinematic form. "One day, our lives will change, I promise," he would say. She wanted to believe his words, but reality presented harsh truths. Each passing day pushed that optimistic future further from reach. Sophia snapped out of her contemplative state, forcing herself to concentrate on her duties. At the counter, Andrea, the other night shift employee, scrolled through his phone with minimal interest. He scarcely acknowledged her presence. Perhaps he was viewing humorous content, or simply passing time until their shift concluded. Sophia turned toward the waste receptacle beside the register and bent down to replace the liner. The sound of the plastic bag crinkling echoed throughout the empty restaurant. Then from outside, a noise disrupted the stillness. A motorcycle engine's roar broke the quiet night atmosphere, interrupting the momentary tranquility. Sophia straightened quickly and directed her attention toward the entrance. The vehicle's headlights flashed against the glass, and moments later, the motorcycle came to a halt. Her heartbeat accelerated slightly. At this hour, every customer represented an unknown factor. She could never predict whether she would serve a harmless late-night visitor or someone with malicious intentions. The entrance door swung open as a man entered, attired in a dark jacket and baseball cap. He approached the counter with measured, unhurried steps. His facial features remained partially obscured by shadow, yet something about his presence seemed strangely familiar. Sophia adjusted her posture behind the register, forcing herself into a professional demeanor despite her exhaustion. "Good evening. What would you like?" she inquired, her voice emerging slightly rougher than intended. The man lifted his gaze to meet hers, and for an instant, Sophia hesitated. There was something about his features, a sense of recognition that she couldn't precisely identify. Had they previously encountered each other? Perhaps he was simply another regular late-night customer, or perhaps, no, she was likely imagining things. The man halted before the counter, deliberately removing his leather gloves and inserting them into his dark jacket pocket. His baseball cap tilted slightly forward, casting shadow across portions of his face. Nevertheless, Sophia experienced an unusual familiarity with his features. He appeared fatigued, not merely the weariness resulting from a long day, but something more profound, as though carrying immense responsibility on his shoulders. Sophia cleared her throat and pulled the register display toward herself. "Good evening. What would you like?" she asked, maintaining professional composure. The man raised his eyes toward her and smiled, a small, genuine expression. "A coffee and a small order of fries, please." Sophia nodded, entering the order information. A simple request, just sufficient to satisfy minimal hunger. "Will you be paying with cash or card?" The man reached into his jacket pocket and began searching for something. He examined one side, then the other. A subtle change in his expression indicated his realization that his wallet was absent. He furrowed his brows and stepped backward, checking his rear pockets. "Nothing," he muttered quietly. Looking up at Sophia, he appeared slightly embarrassed. "I think I forgot my wallet." Sophia blinked. He released a small, sheepish laugh. "Well, this is awkward. I guess I'll have to return home and retrieve it. Sorry for consuming your time." He turned to depart, but Sophia acted before considering twice. "Wait." The man stopped, regarding her with curiosity. Sophia reached into her apron, extracted her personal debit card, and processed it through the payment terminal. "What?" He frowned. "It's already paid for." The man remained motionless momentarily, as if uncertain he had heard her correctly. "But why?" Sophia shrugged. "Because you appear tired, and because occasionally a minor act of kindness can significantly impact someone's day. Consider it my treat." He observed her, his dark eyes examining her intently. Then something unexpected occurred, his expression softened, and the smile he now displayed differed from before. It conveyed not merely gratitude but something deeper. He rubbed the back of his neck, clearly affected by the gesture. "This doesn't happen to me often." Sophia raised an eyebrow, crossing her arms. "So do you accept it or not?" He released a quiet laugh, shaking his head. "I accept, and I genuinely appreciate it." Sophia simply nodded and turned to prepare the order. As she poured the coffee and retrieved the fries, she continued to sense his gaze upon her. The situation felt unusual. Something about him seemed recognizable, yet she couldn't identify the source of this familiarity. When she finally placed the tray on the counter, the man picked up the coffee cup and held it momentarily, as if lost in thought. Small gestures change the world. Sophia blinked. "What?" "What you said, small gestures make a difference." "I agree. The world needs more people like that." She didn't know how to respond. She offered only a brief nod in return. The man collected his tray and turned to exit. However, before stepping outside, he paused briefly and regarded her again. His eyes flickered with something, recognition, as though he had seen her previously, but where? He hesitated momentarily, then offered one final faint smile before disappearing through the doorway. Sophia stood watching his silhouette fade into the darkness. "Weird guy," she murmured to herself. She had no concept that this brief encounter would permanently alter her existence. The remainder of the night passed quietly after the strange customer's departure. Sophia resumed her routine, wiping tables, organizing supplies, and attempting to dispel the unusual feeling the man had left behind. Meanwhile, Andrea, the other night shift employee, leaned against the fryer, attention fixated on his phone. "Dude, you're not going to believe this." Sophia glanced at him, raising an eyebrow. "What?" He turned his phone toward her. On the screen, a video was paused, and she appeared in it. "What the hell is this?" she asked, taking the phone from him. Andrea grinned. "I recorded when you paid for that guy's meal. It seemed like a meaningful moment. I thought it merited sharing." Sophia's stomach dropped. She pressed play, watching the scene unfold, the man in the dark jacket discovering his forgotten wallet, Sophia processing her own card, his expression of surprise, and finally, that mysterious smile before his departure. But what truly startled her was the number of views and comments flooding the screen. 10 million views? You're becoming viral, Sophia. And the best part? Andrea chuckled, indicating the video's caption, KFC employee pays for a customer's meal. Small gestures change the world. The comments section exhibited remarkable activity. This exemplifies the kindness our world needs. She deserves increased compensation. Wait, is that Leo DiCaprio? I swear that resembles Leo. Observe his smile at the conclusion. Someone locate this woman and provide her with recognition. Sophia felt her face flush with heat. Andrea, what have you done? Relax. This is positive. You're an internet sensation. Sophia remained uncertain. Something about this sudden exposure caused her stomach to twist uncomfortably. She never desired fame. She never wanted millions analyzing her gestures, expressions, or life. This will quickly fade, right? She asked hopefully. Andrea shrugged. Perhaps not. By the time Sophia completed her shift at 6 a.m., the world still appeared unchanged. The sky began lightening. The cold night breeze lingered in the empty streets, and headlights flickered along the avenues. She took her usual bus, resting her forehead against the window, attempting to dismiss the persistent feeling that something significant was imminent. But upon disembarking at her stop, she realized that significant changes had already occurred. Teenage girls sat on a bench near her apartment building. The moment they noticed her, they exchanged excited glances. One extracted her phone and began recording. Sophia accelerated her pace. When she reached her building's entrance, the doorman greeted her with an amused smile. Well, we have a celebrity among us. Oh, come on. He chuckled, opening the door. My daughter sent me your video this morning. You're appearing across all internet platforms. They're calling you heroic. Sophia rolled her eyes, attempting to suppress her rising internal panic. She ascended the stairs to the small apartment she shared with Lucian. Upon opening the door, she discovered her brother in pajamas, clutching his phone with widened eyes. Sophia, what now? He turned the screen toward her. A news website had displayed a headline across its homepage, KFC employee pays for mystery customer's meal, touches the internet. Was it Leo DiCaprio? Sophia ran a hand over her face. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Lucian exclaimed enthusiastically. Sophia, you're becoming viral. Observe how many followers you've gained. People are even attempting to send you money via TikTok. This cannot be real. But it was, and the situation was escalating. Sophia's phone vibrated. A message appeared on the screen, Sophia, urgent meeting. Come to the restaurant immediately. Mr. Wilson. Her stomach sank. The KFC manager never communicated in this manner. Lucian looked at her. That's not positive, is it? Definitely not. She inhaled deeply, grabbed her jacket, and hurried out the door. Minutes later, as she entered the restaurant, she sensed the employees' observation. Some smiled, others whispered. Mr. Wilson, the manager, waited at the office door. Sophia, we need to talk now. I paid with my own money. I didn't distribute anything free of charge. That's irrelevant. Wilson's tone was dismissive. You violated company policy. If we make an exception for you, we'd have to make one for everyone. What if, next time, someone provides free food to another celebrity or any random customer? This establishes a dangerous precedent. Sophia felt frustration building inside her. So kindness now contradicts rules? The manager rubbed his face, clearly losing patience. It's not about kindness, Sophia. It's about company policy. And unfortunately, the decision has been finalized. A heavy silence filled the room. Sophia's heartbeat pounded in her ears. "You're terminating my employment?" Wilson nodded. "Yes, you are officially terminated." Sophia opened her mouth to protest but then stopped. She realized her arguments would prove futile. This was unjust. This was absurd. But it was happening. Wilson retrieved a brown envelope from his desk and slid it toward her. "Here are your documents. Your final compensation and severance details." Sophia felt her eyes burn with emotion, but she refused to cry in his presence. She stood, took the envelope, and walked toward the door. Before exiting, she turned back and stated, "I acted correctly." Wilson offered no response. Sophia departed the office with her head held high, but internally, everything was disintegrating. The moment she exited the restaurant, a small group outside began murmuring. "Hey, you're the girl from the video, aren't you?" Sophia attempted to ignore them, but then noticed additional phones being raised, recording her. "What happened in there? Did they terminate your employment?" Sophia paused. She was about to indicate her unwillingness to discuss the matter, but then experienced an internal shift. She was weary of remaining silent. She looked directly into one of the recording phones and confirmed, "Yes, I was just fired, all because I paid for a customer's meal with my personal funds after he forgot his wallet." Silence ensued. Then someone shouted, "What?" The outrage manifested instantly. Social media platforms erupted in real time. She was terminated? That's outrageous. KFC must explain this. If they fire an employee for demonstrating kindness, I'll never patronize their establishment again. #Justice for Sophia is already trending. As Sophia walked home, her phone continuously vibrated with notifications. The story was expanding more rapidly than she could have anticipated. She remained uncertain about paying rent, assisting Lucian, or resolving this predicament. But one aspect was evident: the internet supported her position. "Did they actually terminate you?" Lucian asked when she returned home. "Yes, they did." Sophia sighed, sinking onto the couch beside him. Lucian ran a hand through his hair, exasperated. "Okay, but what now? How will we pay rent? Bills? Food?" Sophia closed her eyes momentarily. "I don't know." Silence pervaded the room. For the first time, Sophia realized she lacked a plan. She had always managed to maintain stability regardless of circumstances. But now, only an empty void lay ahead. That afternoon, Sophia sought employment. She needed to resolve this situation quickly. She visited the mall, the grocery store, even the small coffee shop at the corner. Everywhere she went, she received identical reactions: curious stares, whispering employees, and when she reached managers, the inevitable question, "You're the woman from the video, correct?" She would nod, and the response remained consistent: "Sorry, but we currently have no positions available." After the fifth rejection, Sophia recognized the situation. No one would hire her because of the viral story. Her reputation was compromised. Online fame wasn't beneficial, it prevented her from securing employment. She returned home feeling worse than when she departed. That evening, Sophia checked her bank account. The figure displayed on the screen was alarmingly low. She disliked the necessity, but she had no alternative. She accessed a freelance job website and began applying for any available position: data entry, remote customer service, anything providing quick income. Hours later, receiving no responses, she collapsed onto her bed and draped an arm over her eyes. Was this the end? Would she need to vacate the apartment? How would she inform Lucian he might need to abandon his aspirations? Silent tears rolled down her face. Then her phone vibrated. Sophia picked it up, barely concerned about notifications. But when she observed the email sender, her heart stopped. Sender, subject, "We need to talk." Sophia frowned. Who was he? She opened the message, and her body tensed as she read the initial lines. Sophia, I witnessed what happened to you. I want to help. Let's talk. Sophia stared at the screen, her heart racing. A scam? A prank? But something about the message seemed authentic. She hesitated, then composed a reply. Who was he, and what did they want from her? You're E? Sophia asked. Leo gave a small smile. Technically, I'm K. But yes, I sent the email. Sophia leaned forward. But why? Leo remained silent momentarily, as if carefully selecting his words. What you did that night at KFC, it was a minor action, but held significant meaning. Sophia blinked in confusion. It was merely coffee and fries. Leo smiled. To you, perhaps. But for me, it differed. You assisted me without knowing my identity, without expecting compensation. He paused, observing her intently. And momentarily, I felt as though I already knew you. Sophia frowned. What do you mean? Leo inhaled deeply before stating something that altered Sophia's entire perception. Sophia, your mother previously worked at a movie theater, didn't she? Sophia's body stiffened. How do you know that? Leo held his coffee cup momentarily, as if recalling a distant memory. Because she was among those who assisted me before I achieved fame. A chill traveled down Sophia's spine. Beside her, Lucian whispered under his breath, this cannot be real. What did Leo know about Sophia's mother? Sophia felt breathless. She stared at Leo, anticipating that he might laugh and reveal a joke. But his expression remained calm and serious. Her mother. Leo DiCaprio knew her mother. Lucian sat immobile beside her, his mouth slightly open, as if processing the information. Sophia forced herself to speak. How do you know my mom? Leo exhaled softly, his fingers tracing the rim of his coffee cup. It occurred long ago. I was still a struggling actor, just an unknown individual trying to survive financially. I barely had money for food, let alone entertainment. But I loved cinema. I would sneak into theaters just to watch films and study them. He offered a nostalgic smile. Your mother worked at one of those theaters. She caught me sneaking in once. Sophia felt her stomach tighten. She could visualize it perfectly, her mother, always warm, always willing to assist others. Did she expel you? Leo chuckled. No. She saw me standing in the hallway attempting to remain unnoticed. Instead of reporting me, she approached and handed me a ticket. She told me everyone deserves occasional escape into a good story. Sophia swallowed hard. That statement perfectly aligned with her mother's character. That wasn't the only instance, Leo continued. She allowed me entry multiple times. She even provided free popcorn once or twice. Sophia's eyes burned with emotion. Her mother had passed away years ago, but now here sat Leo DiCaprio, a globally famous actor, telling her that her mom had once assisted him during his challenging period. Lucian finally regained his voice. Wait, you're saying that mom helped Leo DiCaprio when he was financially struggling, and now, years later, my sister randomly assists you at KFC? Leo smiled. Life contains surprising coincidences, doesn't it? Sophia shook her head in disbelief. I can't believe this. Leo leaned forward. I never forgot her kindness. It may have seemed insignificant to her, but to me, it held immense value. And when I saw you that night at KFC, when I observed your actions, I felt as though I had witnessed that kindness previously. Sophia's heart raced. So, what does this signify? Leo sipped his coffee before answering. It means I want to help you, just as your mother helped me. Sophia frowned. Help me how? Leo reached into his jacket and produced an envelope. He placed it on the table before her. Consider this a thank you gift." Sophia hesitated before taking it. Inside was a check for an astoundingly large amount. She gasped. "I cannot accept this." Leo raised an eyebrow. "Why not?" "Because it's excessive." Leo smiled. "To you, perhaps, but for me, it's merely a method of extending the kindness your mother demonstrated to me. And you deserve it, Sophia. You performed a good deed and received punishment for it. That's not how the world should function." Sophia looked at the check, her hands trembling. This money could transform everything. "Sophia, this could save us," Lucian whispered. She inhaled deeply. "Leo, I don't know what to say." Leo smiled warmly. "Then say nothing. Just utilize it effectively." Sophia stared at him, still struggling to accept the reality of the situation. Her entire life had changed overnight. And it all resulted from a small act of kindness. What will Sophia do with this life-changing opportunity? Sophia sat staring at the check, her mind racing. This seemed excessive, too surreal. Just days earlier, she struggled with rent payment, supporting Lucian, and determining her future direction. And now, sitting across from Leo DiCaprio, she held a check capable of transforming her life. "Are you certain about this?" she asked, her voice barely audible. Leo nodded. "Yes. I don't perceive it as charity, Sophia. This represents my returning a favor. Your mother assisted me without obligation. And now, all these years later, you demonstrated the same behavior." Lucian, still shocked, repeatedly glanced between Sophia and Leo. "This is incredible, like something from a movie script." Leo chuckled. "Perhaps someday, someone will adapt it into a film." Sophia released a shaky laugh. "So, what should I do now?" Leo leaned back, thoughtful. "That decision belongs to you. This money suffices to sustain you and Lucian for a considerable period. But if you desire my advice..." Sophia leaned forward, attentive. "Don't merely survive. Utilize this opportunity to construct the life you've always desired." His words impacted her powerfully. For an extended period, Sophia had operated in survival mode, working extensive hours, barely managing financially, prioritizing Lucian's future above her own. She had never considered the possibility of something more. But now, for the first time in years, she had options. That evening, Sophia and Lucian sat at their small kitchen table, the check positioned between them. "Okay," Lucian said, tapping the table. "Let's discuss future plans." Sophia sighed. "First priority, debt resolution. No more overdue rent, no more stress." Lucian nodded enthusiastically. "Agreed." "And after that," Sophia hesitated. "I'm uncertain. Perhaps I could resume education, maybe enroll in business courses. I never really had proper educational opportunities." Lucian grinned. "You'd excel at that." Sophia gave him a skeptical look. "You think so?" "I know so." She smiled, experiencing something long absent, hope. Then she regarded Lucian. "And what about you?" His face brightened. "I want to apply for film school." Sophia felt emotional tightness in her chest. Lucian had always dreamed of creating films, of telling stories. And now, for the first time, that dream wasn't impossible. "Then that's our plan," she decided. Lucian laughed, shaking his head. "I still can't believe this is happening." "Neither can I," she admitted. But as she observed her brother, their small apartment, and the check representing a new beginning, she recognized one certainty: this was just the commencement. Sunlight streamed through the cafe window as Sophia sipped her coffee. Considerable time had passed since she last worked a night shift. Now, she was completing her first semester of business school. Lucian had gained acceptance to a prestigious film program. They had relocated to a better apartment. Life wasn't perfect, but for the first time, they controlled its direction. Her phone vibrated. New message from Leo DiCaprio. Subject: how's the new chapter treating you? Sophia smiled as she typed her response, better than I ever imagined. Thank you, Leo. She sent the message and set aside her phone, watching Lucian seated across from her, drafting ideas for his first short film. And in that moment, she realized a single act of kindness truly could change the world. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoy this video and learned a lesson. I would be grateful for your likes. Also don't forget to subscribe and comment on the video. See you soon.